Hello, Grumelinos. Have I worn a tank top in a video this year at all? No. At least I don't think so, but it is hot. I'm so hot. My office is hot. It is hot. But we're not here for me to complain about the heat. We are here because I am playing Pride TBR catch-up. So ta-da! Happy Pride, Grumelinos! In July. I have a ton of books that I did not read in June. Not intentionally, I just didn't get to them. I have library books. I have a lot of books. Most of them will be in this vlog. There are a couple of horror ones that I'm going to move to the next vlog. So this is mostly going to be queer romance. Also, I didn't introduce myself. Hi, I'm Catherine. I'm your favorite asthmatic, mostly 10-fingered chaos reader. Yeah, so the theme of this is Pride catch-up because I really do have a ton of books that I just didn't get to. I either got them right near the end of the month. That's really what happened. I picked up a lot at the library right before we went on our trip to Ohio, and I just could not read them. I also got gifted one while in Ohio. And then one, I think my hold came in like the first day of July or something like that. And I was like, oh, okay, I'll just read you in July. So that is what we're doing. We're just reading gay books I didn't get to. But again, primarily gay romance. We're throwing a gay mystery novel in here. But predominantly like gay romance. I guess one is technically gay fiction. It's just a lot of gay books. So I actually do want to tell you about the book I finished. I teased this at the end of my Summerween vlog that I was going to read this. So I read Cauldrons and Campfires by Allie K. Mulford and K.L. Morrison. This is part of the, oh gosh, I'm gonna forget the name of the little town. It's part of a series. So Maple Hollow. It is part of the Maple Hollow series. In this, we are following Sabine and Gwen. Gwen was living in New York City. She is older. Everyone is like in their 20s. Most people are like in their 20s. So she was having a fight with her ex-boyfriend and accidentally turned him into a toad. And then her mom's like, oh, you're a witch. Shoot, I did not think that was gonna happen. And Gwen's like, what? She's like, oh, well, I'm a witch, but I kind of gave that up, and I really just thought, like, you'd be normal. But now I need you to go to summer camp for upstanding women. And this is in Maple Hollow. And you go through the camp to join the coven. I'm going to take a sip of my iced coffee that, yes, is in my very gay water device. Okay, so we are following Gwen as she gets to the camp, and then Sabine is a counselor. So the setup of this is everyone is older. Like, this is a summer camp for like 18 plus, and you like do 2 years as a camper and 2 years as a counselor. And Sabine is doing her final year as a counselor, and then her sister Iris has actually like, she comes back every year to help out and be a counselor, even though she's part of the coven. She finished ages ago, but she just always comes back. And then Sabine is very much like, I want to leave town. Like, I want to be in the coven, but not of the coven. Like, I want to go to New York City. I want to like start my life. And it's funny because both of our main characters get it in their heads that they're like looking for something. They're both trying to like find their place, find a community. Gwen has been moving around her entire life, and Sabine has never left Maple Hollow. So they kind of have different ideas of what they want, but they fall for each other. And much like the other Maple Hollow books that I very much enjoyed, Pumpkin Spice and Poltergeist and Curses and Cold Brews. Curses and Cold Brews is teased in this one because Iris is the lead of that, and Pumpkin Spice and Poltergeist is also mentioned. The characters from that do appear as well, but they like get together, summer romance a little. It does get a little steamy in the middle, but we aren't sure how this is going to work out because they do kind of want different things. And Gwen is starting to feel more connected to the camp, to the community of witches, and Sabine still really wants to fulfill her dream of going to New York City and getting out of Maple Hollow. So it was perfectly summer. The camp atmosphere was lovely. It made me think of the camp from, I was trying to think, the camp that appears in the newest season of Wednesday. They like go and do like a camp weekend, but also a little bit of the Addams Family one, if that had actually had like creepy kids as opposed to very rich children, and the Addamses. But I really enjoyed it. I'm very glad I read it. I just wanted to include it in this because I like the Maple Hollow series, and this is like the newest one for now. There is another one coming out, follows the baker and a werewolf. what is it? Lichens and Lattes. That's the name of that one. So there's that. And then I have started Girls by Sonia Feldman. I'm going to finish this, but and tell you when I finish it, but it's gonna be difficult to explain it. Also, I need to know the main character's name. I know it's Eleanor and Margaret. What is the actual... Sorry, I don't know whose point of view we're in. Mina. Okay. So we are first person from Mina's point of view. She has two best friends, Margaret and Eleanor. And this is the summer where she realizes that she's actually in love with Eleanor. They are in Ohio, northwest part of, or I think it is northwest, northeast? I don't know, they're in Ohio. Now, this is funny to me because I was like, oh yeah, coming of age in Ohio. They're children with smartphones. So I was like, oh, I'm old. So this is coming of age, but like they are all born after I was born, because I was imagining like dial-up or really chunky computers, and they all have laptops and smartphones and I think Instagram accounts. So I was like, oh, I'm older than you. Oh boy. But I am enjoying it so far. It's a coming of age like story, so it's literary fiction. There's not really a plot yet beyond like following Mina, Margaret, and Eleanor over the summer. So I'm just kind of like, I can't really recap that for you. The language is very pretty, and what they're doing is very relatable, even though I was born before them. They like play Sims and do goofy stuff together, and you can tell that Mina is like trying to figure out who she is, and there's like an inkling there that she knows that she's gay, but she hasn't quite like made the cognitive jump. There's little like tells, but she hasn't figured it out quite yet. I am enjoying it. I'm only 40 pages in, but it's pretty short. It's only like 211 pages. So my goal is to finish it today. I have some time before work. I can read during lunch. So I'm really hoping I can knock it out, because I read the 40 pages in not a lot of time last night. But also, I'm still doing the tarot thing until someone tells me not to. So I've already shuffled. I have a card prepped. Where did I put my guide? It's over here. I have the card. Again, I already prepped this. What is it? Ooh, the Knight of Cups. Knight of Cups. Are you gonna focus? Camera, you can do it. Doesn't want to focus today. Ooh, nope. Well, Knight of Cups. So let's look up. That's wands. Where is cups? There we go. Okay. Oh gosh. And I have to get to the end of the cup section. This is the longest opening clip because I'm doing too many things. There it is. Charming, creative, empathic. The Knight of Cups represents someone who is in touch with their feelings and emotions and is friendly and charming. They often use their emotional intuition to connect deeply with people. Their charms mean that they are often flirty and romantic heartbreakers. The Knight of Cups is known for intensity over longevity. They might already know what they want, or may be searching for something to spark their flame. Whatever the case, the Knight of Cups encourages you to harness his energy and channel it into your journey, whether by experimenting with your identity or working toward longer-term goals. The reverse would be you may be feeling stuck in the brainstorming stage of a creative process. And the model is Skylar Riley, they, them. Maybe it'll focus now. Sometimes it wants to focus, sometimes not so much. Yeah, today's not so much kind of day. Ooh, there we go. Look at that. So yeah, that is the opening. I will let you know when I finish Girls, and then we're moving on to just a chaotic assortment of some gay romancy mystery things. I actually thought they were all romance, but really only 3 of them are. I don't know. I don't. My brain is soup this week. So we're just going, we're just doing, we're just existing. But yeah, so tell you when I finish Girls, Gremolinos, and then we'll move on to that. Also, buzzword is in here. So I'm squeezing the buzzword challenge in here because I made 2 of the books that I already had fit. One is a tiny bit of a stretch, but we're just going with it. The other one does definitely fit. I'll explain more when we get to those books, but I will talk to you when I have finished this coming of age memoir. Oh, it's not a memoir, coming of age lit fic, Gremolinos. I'm back, Gremolinos. It is the end of my workday, and I successfully, during my lunch break, finished Girls. There is no way to like recap this. It is really just following Mina and Eleanor and, oh my gosh, I almost forgot her name. My brain was like, wait, her name starts with an M. Good Lord. Can you tell that it's been a long day? And it's been a minute. Hold on. I'll actually get the name. Margaret, it is Margaret. So Margaret, Eleanor, and Mina. So we're really just following them for a summer. During that, there is a moment between Mina and Eleanor, and then everything really goes haywire. The friends all kind of are experiencing their own sort of like dramas, teen events. So they're not like friendship breakups exactly, but there are times where our characters are apart. So they're spending time apart, but then getting back together and then dealing with like the fallout of different dynamics between friends. Hold on. Ugh. I hate the heat. And I hate that sometimes my asthma decides to be a butt out of the blue. But we're just really following this. We are following from Mina's point of view, so we don't really know what's going on with Eleanor or Margaret specifically unless Mina is clued in. So really you only know what Mina is feeling, what Mina is thinking, and then occasionally what her friends are thinking or feeling if they share that with her. It was very interesting to read a book set in Ohio. They go to the fair and they talk about how it's this huge fair, like an agriculture fair kind of deal. So like a county fair. It did sound almost like the county fair from where I grew up, but I don't really go to the fair unless I absolutely had to. I'm not, like, I don't mind going to the fair, but when I was a teenager, wouldn't really go. I think I would go like maybe once a year, if that. I don't handle heat well, if you can't tell. And the fair is always extra hot. I didn't really ride rides. Like, it just wasn't a thing I wanted to do. We do go to the one in our town, but we literally only go for like one night. We get food, we bring it home. So I'm not really doing the fair thing. Krista and I a couple years ago tried to ride fair rides at this like little thing at our mall, and we both got very ill. Not actually like physically, but like we both felt awful after, and we decided we were too old. So yeah, but it was interesting to see them go to the fair, and you can tell they're all from kind of an affluential area of Ohio. It is very definitely a suburb where like the houses are big, people have pools. None of them have ever really experienced like intense traumas. And also, I will point out, this is a story where Mina's mom is very accepting of everything that's going on. No one has any issues with anyone being gay. So like Mina mentions like she has feelings for Eleanor, kind of. I won't get into details, but there is a discussion of Eleanor with Mina's mom, and her mom's kind of like, okay. And I was like, that's so nice. Ohio is a very red state. It used to be a swing state. It's not anymore. But it was just so interesting to see that. I did enjoy it. Again, I almost want to say I think the audiobook would be better. Not that the reading experience wasn't good, but I think it would be a very good audiobook just to listen to someone like telling you about this summer when they were 15. And I think it would be like very soothing almost. Like I think it would just be a nice experience. Reading it was still good, but I do think the audiobook would have just been nice. I could volunteer to be your audiobook narrator, as I am from Ohio, and I assume I still have my slightly distinct Ohio twinge. Twang? We don't really have a twang. I'm sure there's something in here that would tell someone I'm from Ohio. But yeah, I did enjoy it. I also, this is gonna sound so weird. So when they were talking about the fair, I was debating if I was going to include this. I'm just going to give you like a fun, really quick story. Again, I do recommend Girls Girl. I should feel like I should tell you to read do the audiobook. I just think it would be a nice time. Again, reading it, lovely. I did enjoy it. It's a little like encapsulation of a moment of youth. And it's just, the writing is very nice. It's great watching this little trio. But fun, not so fun. I don't know how to describe this. Weird fact for you. I mentioned that we have a very big fair, like the big county fair where I live. It's a huge deal, giant deal. And I almost am wondering if it is, I mean, they called it a county fair, and I really am wondering if it's inspired by like one very similar to the one where I grew up. So they're like looking at all of the animals, like the cows and the bunnies and blah, 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 blah. So when I came to New York, we were talking about going to the fair, and they have animals at like all the fairs, like the county fair, the city, whatever. And so I casually was like, oh, they show animals. Does your fair do a carcass show? And literally every person in the room was like, what? And I was like, a carcass show? That's not a thing here. You don't do that. So fun fact, this is the creepy fun fact. In the county I'm from, our fair would end with the carcass show. It was on the news. It was a huge deal. But if you showed an animal at the fair, certain animals, I don't know which ones, I was not involved in this, I just know it's a thing, you could show your animal. I believe this was predominantly with the cattle, but that animal would be butchered and presented as a carcass. Also, if you eat meat, you should know this. And then people, like, the carcasses were judged and then sold, from what I understand. Like, the person who showed it could then, like, sell it, and it was like, you got more money, I believe, depending on how the carcass was graded or rated or whatever. But, like, it was a thing. They would show it on the news. Like, they would pan around a chilled room full of carcasses. And I mentioned that, and people were like, why would they do that? And I was like, well, I don't think the tiny children were doing it, but they had a carcass show. Like, some of the animals you met were in the carcass show. People were like, that's horrible. And I was like, well, I don't know. I was like, I didn't participate. So yeah, I don't know if all fairs do that, or if maybe fairs do it and they don't advertise it like my county did. My county was very proud of it. I think people made a lot of money. But again, I don't know. I wasn't showing animals or anything at the fair, but just know some counties have carcass shows and they show the carcass of the animal. I do think it was predominantly pigs and cattle. I don't think it was anything else. I think it was just pigs and cattle. But don't take my word for that. If you lived or live in Ohio and attend a county fair that does a carcass show, please feel free to let me know. Or if you know that your county does a carcass show, please tell me, because it feels absolutely insane to tell people. But I swear to you, the ending day of the fair, like when the fair was over, like the fair is closing, they would have this show and they would sell the carcasses. I swear to you, I'm not making it up. It's not like a thing I created in my mind. It's a real thing. But moving on to the next book. So this is also not a romance. So this is Something to Be Proud Of by Anna Zoe Quirk, I'm gonna go with. That's the pronunciation. This is my buzzword medal on the cover book. And this is gonna get tricky. There is glitter all over this cover, like in there. And I'm counting it as metal because it's shiny and it's like little bits of metal, kind of, in my mind. So that's what we're going with. I'm calling it metal. It's what I want to do. I feel like it's metallic in my brain, to me, so that's what it is. But this is not a romance. I will talk to you more about it when I've actually read it, but it is gay. It is a very queer read, but not a romance. I could not remember. But that is my buzzword book. I will talk to you about it when I have read it, probably, because it is YA and the text is pretty big. So I think I'll finish it before too long. Not today, probably, but just in general. So I probably won't talk to you about it until it's done. And then, yeah, I think that's it for now. So I'm gonna go. I do have some after work things to do, my dear Gremolinos. So I will talk to you tomorrow. I'm gonna talk to you tomorrow. Hi Gremolinos, I don't have a reading update. I have failed you. I literally read nothing of Something to Be Proud Of yesterday. After work, I was pretty tired. It was just a long day. And then Krista and I basically just had dinner. Sorry, my shirt feels like it's choking me. We had dinner and then we just like left it on Gilmore Girls because that's what we play for the dogs during the day. And then we just watched like random YouTube videos until we went to bed. And I just like, I did not read. Should have read. Didn't read. I did match my shirt to the book by Babe because I know for a fact that this character right here, Imogen, is Imogen, I'm gonna say Imogen, is bi. Predominantly because the back of the book tells me so. But I have done a tarot shuffle off camera, so I will at least do a tarot draw because I am gonna do that. Also, I have iced coffee in my fun light up the Marvels mug. Cup? It's a cup. It's fine. But let's pull the card, and it is the High Priestess. Let's see if it will focus. We'll just do that and then like back up and see if it works. No, you really don't want to focus on cards this week. Oh, there we go. It did focus. Okay, High Priestess. Oh, my itches. Oh, Sorry, I'm just tired. Also, I did not help myself any because we bought my like favorite cider, cranberry by 1911, and I had some of that, and that made me very tired. Okay, High Priestess. Subconscious mind, nurturing, rest, femininity. The High Priestess is radical and mysterious, offering you spiritual enlightenment and wisdom. They are a muse able to travel between the conscious and subconscious mind and encouraging you to switch between these two realms. The High Priestess often symbolizes femininity, an energy everyone holds, intuition, rest, reflection, and divine wisdom. Connect deeply with this. You know your own truth better than anyone else, and the High Priestess reminds you of this, no matter what anyone else may say. Oh gosh, this is very long. Hold on. The card reminds you to take a deep breath and be still. Your mind or pressure from the others may be hounding you to make snap decisions or judgments, but the High Priestess encourages you to explore stillness and instead consider the big picture. It says that this may appear if you have a decision to make where you don't feel you have all the information. If this is the case, go with your gut and trust your instincts. The reverse of this, because I only look at them, like, I don't have them switched into reverses. You may be feeling blocked or closed off to your feminine nature, like you need to act and execute rather than ponder. Take the time to practice your intuition and begin to trust yourself again. Rest. And this is Chala De He. So there you go. But yeah, so I have some time before work, so I'm gonna read some of something to be proud of. And then during lunch, I really did plan to read yesterday and just nope, nothing happened. I did read a lot, like, at the end of, that would be Bernie. I'm gonna go. He just keeps barking today. So I will talk to you when I have a book update, Gremolinos, and after I tell my very loud male dog to shut his mouth, because he's barking. And nothing. I know that's what it is. I know it's nothing. Bye, Gremolinos. Hello, Gremolinos. So it is the next day. It's actually, like, almost the afternoon. I started feeling so bad at work. So I took my lunch at like 1-ish, and I hadn't been feeling well. Like, I just, like, my head really hurt even though I took Excedrin. And at first I was cropping it up to, like, I had a couple ciders the night before, so I thought maybe that was it. But, like, I was really, like, nauseous and, like, just not feeling particularly well. We had a meeting and I kind of felt like I was gonna throw up the entire meeting, so I just, like, didn't talk because I was like, I cannot trust myself. And I was, like, trying to finish my coffee to see if that would help with the Excedrin. I started chugging a Gatorade because I thought maybe I was dehydrated. Like, nothing was working. And Christy came home for lunch. It was like around 1:20. I, like, tried to eat lunch and I did, but then I felt like I was gonna throw up lunch. Like, I was like, so I'm not hungry, like, I don't know what's going on. And she was like, you look awful. Because I was, like, laying, like, I didn't want to move. And I was like, I don't know, I'm, like, queasy or I don't know the difference between queasy and nauseous, sorry. And I was like, and, like, my head still hurts, I just don't know what's going on. And I was like, normally, like, Excedrin plus caffeine and all of that, like, does the trick. So I was like, I don't think I'm hungover, I just feel bad. And, like, I had reflux, like, constantly. Like, I just felt like stomach acid, like, in my throat. Like, it was so gross. And I was just like, I feel awful. So I actually wound up telling my boss I needed to, like, lay down. I couldn't figure out, I told him it was a migraine because I couldn't figure out what it was. I don't know. I wound up going downstairs. I basically took a very long nap. And then I did wind up reading something to be proud of. Like, I was just, like, reading it to kind of distract myself from feeling bad. So I have finished it. I did. This does count as my buzzword metallic book. I feel better today. Like, I just did not feel well. We were supposed to do a bunch of stuff today too, but Krista and I both overslept. We were gonna get up early and go to the Destiny USA mall, but it's too late in the day and we don't do the drive at this point. But we do have errands to run in town, so we're gonna do those instead. But okay. Something to be proud of is dual narration. It follows, or dual POV. It follows Imogen and Ollie. Imogen is there, Ollie is there. Imogen is bisexual, autistic, uses she, they pronouns, and wants to be a comedian. And the back of the book is actually her comedy set from, like, the center of the book, which is odd to me. But she winds up wanting to start an activist group because they got really overwhelmed when they went to Pride with their friends. And she just, like, does not want other people to experience that. So she creates a group at school. Ollie winds up joining, a number of other kids wind up joining, and we're, like, following them all in their attempt to create and fundraise an inclusive Pride for their small town. And then on top of that, Amelia not Amelia. Amelia is a character that gets introduced and becomes friends with Imogen, and there's like a whole thing. I won't get into a ton of details. There's a lot of representation here, and we do follow Imogen as she's like dealing with certain things because she has taken on a lot. Her dad doesn't really understand her or her autism, and kind of like judges her against her brother, who I kind of wish we'd gotten more of, because they hint that the brother is supposed to be quote unquote perfect. I'm gonna put this down. But like, he comes home from university and is like seemingly not doing well, but no one has picked up on that except Imogen. But we don't get anything out of that, which I thought was interesting. And then Ollie is super popular. He is gay, and his family knows, and other people find out. It's interesting to me because it seemed like some people knew, but then there is kind of like a coming out of sorts scene, so that was interesting. But his parents are suddenly getting divorced, and Ollie wants to know why, because his parents aren't telling him. And that leads to a lot of discussions with him and his dad. I do think the book overall is a very good, like, young reader read. There are some curse words in it, because they're teenagers. Not a lot, but depending on what your adult, because I really feel like this is predominantly like a YA book that you'd expect younger readers to read and not an adult. Like, I'm not the core audience for this book, and I knew that, but I was so curious. The representation is incredible. There are wheelchair users, there are non-binary folks, there are trans people. We barely get them, but I know they do appear. And I say they because I don't remember who all they are. Then there's like drag queens, there's like fun events. And it is good. Ollie also examines how he wants to present himself a bit, which is why he has like makeup on in the cover of this. And it's a good kind of coming of age story for Imogen specifically. Ollie a little bit, but Ollie is also mostly contending with a very crappy dad. And all of these kids are dealing with a lot of adversity at school through a variety of means. I do think it's a good book, especially for like young readers who are looking for more representation, or if you want a young reader to experience more representation. The book is also set in the UK. Just throwing that out there. So some stuff is a little bit different. Like, they drink in this a little, but also I believe the drinking age is lower, so the parents are a bit loosey-gooseier on it. So yeah, this feels like a book that you could recommend to like the audience you would also recommend Angus Thongs and Full Frontal Snogging to, which is actually a YA book. I loved that series. I feel like that fits within that same kind of like slightly inappropriate, but it is not inappropriate. Just like, there are some things where you're like, oh, like the curse words, the drinking. They go to a pub a couple of times and I'm like, oh, okay. And like, that's sort of what I mean. Like, there are some slightly more mature elements. Like in Angus Thongs and Full Frontal Snogging, they talk about dating, they talk about going to parties, like all of that comes in there. I don't actually remember if there's cursing. I really want to reread that series because I own all of them, but it's been a minute. But yeah, so that's what I'm getting at. They're like, even Heartstopper. I feel like if your kid liked Heartstopper, they would really like this, and I feel like there's a lot of elements from this that are similar to Heartstopper. So yeah, that's what I'm getting at. I know that sounds so strange, but like, if you're looking for a book that doesn't include some like mature things, like going to a party, this wouldn't be for your kid. But if you do want like a solid, I almost want to say middle grade for this. The writing is very easy to understand, so just take that into account. I'm not a parent. I can't recommend what would be good. I do think this was a great, this would be a great addition to like a school library, allowing kids to experience representation if they're looking for it, if they are missing it. So I really think this is a solid book for young readers. It also focuses on the hardships and difficulties that different populations face in society. So it's a good educational tool, which does make sense because I believe the writer is actually is a children's librarian, and yeah, I feel like this is designed to be kind of an educational tool, but also something younger readers can relate to. So yeah, just know going in, if you are suggesting it to a younger reader, there are slight curse words, there are parties. I feel like that's the most like mature scenes, really. There is a bar scene that stressed me out of it because Imogen goes by herself to a bar where there are adults who are acting very inappropriately. So that's the thing that I like really stood out, where I was like, oh, there's no adult with her. And like, she tells her parents she's going to an open mic night and they don't come. And I was like, your daughter is probably going to a bar full of drunks. That's not safe. So that's the thing that really hit me. Like, that is a very mature adult situation where I was like, that child should not be there. I don't care how old she is, she should not be there by herself. That's the scene that really stood out to me as something that I'd be like, oh, danger scene. But overall, I think it's a good educational tool. It was not a book designed for me to be reading it. It is a book designed for younger readers. But glad I read it, so I could recommend it if you're an educator and looking for something for, I'm gonna say, like, middle school. I probably could have even read this outside of middle school, like in elementary school, but that's just me. I was a weird kid. Like late elementary, middle school, freshman, sophomore, high school. I think that would be a good thing. I don't think this has an actual, like, what ages it recommends, but that's where I would throw this. It also has a proud partnership with Glad on the back, so that's fun. The next book is a completely different thing. I will be reading How You Get the Girl, which is a basketball romance, I believe, from Anita Kelly. And they have written some books I've really enjoyed. I really liked the baking romance one, so I'm curious. This was on the table of Pride books. This is a long clip, I'm sorry. But yeah, this is the next book. But we need to run errands. I just wanted to fill you in because I think I'm going to take something to be proud of back to the library today if possible. And then I will start How You Get the Girl today, and I'll fill you in when I have an update. Also, I'm wearing my David Rose shirt because I felt like I didn't wear it enough during Pride. And yeah, I think that is it. I'm not going to do a tarot draw because we really do need to go. I am taking forever, and I'm sure Krista thinks I have either misplaced something or fallen into the toilet. So I should go. But I will talk to you later, Gremolinos. Also, to reiterate, this was my metallic element for the buzzword challenge. So that's one buzzword book down. I'm going to end the vlog with the other buzzword book. So that's the plan because I own the other buzzword book. So talk to you later. I may have a coffee review for you later too because I really want to try a new coffee at Dunkin' and see what I think. But we'll see. We'll see how that goes. Talk to you later today, Gremolinos.
Nice to see your beautiful face.
Hello. I have outfit changed. I'm in a By Pride hat, this sunscreen shirt, and we're going to the Lavender Festival. Oh, you need to take Zyrtec.
What?
You need to take Zyrtec.
Okay.
So Krista wants to go because there's like food trucks and stuff, and this like little bookmobile thing is going to be there. So you're coming. We'll see how it goes. We did run some errands. We took Kira with us to get coffee. We didn't go to Dunkin'. We might go to Dunkin' tonight or tomorrow, one or the other, because the only reason I want to go is they have peanut butter coffees. I don't like marshmallows, so I don't want to try the fluffer nutter, but I do want to try a Dunkin' like peanut butter coffee. So we'll see, but we're headed out. So we're coming. Don't know if I'll film anything. There might be a lot of people and a lot of kids, so if there's a lot of stuff, I won't film. If I can, I'll film in the little bookstory thing. So yeah, maybe you'll get to see the Lavender Festival. Let's just see how things go.
0.8. Yeah. You definitely like Mommy said this one was really good.
Hello, Gremolinos. I actually didn't read to yawn when I opened this. We are back from the Lavender Festival. We wound up going, we were there for about an hour. It was pretty warm. The sun was pretty brutal. Really, we just walked around. It was fine. We thought we'd be able to get more food there, but not really. We even got cash to bring with us, but we had some like tater tots. They were fine. It was like loaded nacho tots. And then Goose is on me. It's right there. Then we got funnel cake fries. Funnel cake fries were good. They were pretty cheap too. And then what you saw was just the like little mobile library. No, little mobile bookstore. Or little bookstore. I always forget the name of her thing. I didn't buy anything. She does have some gay books, but really she only has gay books I've either already read or already read and already own. She doesn't really have anything new. And I checked through because I've gotten blind date with a book from her before. And none of them like hooked me. Like nothing really wowed me. And normally if it's gay, she puts like a rainbow bookmark or something to like give away like this has gay anything in it, and none of them did, so I just kind of assumed none of them were. So I didn't get anything. It was cute to walk around. I liked her little nod to practical magic. Yeah, we walked around. I tried a horrible drink. I wasn't gonna get anything, and I was like, I'm pretty hot, and Chris was like, oh, they have like lavender drinks. Oh, I'm out of space. We're running out of space. Now watch, my battery's about to die. I'm gonna charge her after this. I didn't get anything. Oh, the drink was very bad. She was like, oh, you should get a drink. So I really like wine slushies. They're like a thing everyone always has in upstate New York. And they had wine slushies. And so I got a blueberry wine slushie. They were supposed to have lavender in it. It tasted like soap. It was so gross. So yeah, that wasn't really worth it. And then, oh, and you had to have cash for like everything, which was a little frustrating because some of the vendors didn't actually put that they only took cash. It didn't affect us, but like literally someone placed a whole order for food and they're like, oh, sorry, we only take cash. And I'm like, you don't have a sign. Make sure you have a sign. Like, people don't carry cash normally. We only got it because they said that it was cash only for the event and it was like $5 each to get in. But then Krista was like, that normally means a lot of people don't want to take card because they don't want to report it. So you have to bring cash just because, like, if it's your business, you should be filing paperwork pretty consistently with, you know, the IRS. So actually use card. That's fine. It's fine. But yeah, so we walked around. The big highlight was North Country Pet Adoption Services were there. There are like local sheltery thing. And they had bandanas for sale. And so the pumpkin one with plaid on the back is for Brune. And the candy corns with the little ghosties on the back is for Kira. And then the money that you paid for it, the proceeds went towards the shelter. Sorry, my eye makeup is a hot mess. I need to actually wash it off. And I need to wash the paint they put on my hand. This is how they marked that you had paid to come in. It's just paint marker. I really need to wash it off. But yeah, so it was fine. We literally, it goes on every year and we've seen it advertised ever since we moved here in 2020. And the two of us were like, we went, we know, we're not going again. It was fine. It was just walking around outside. And just not the biggest exciting thing. But yeah, so we did that. Then we actually grabbed lunch because the tots, we didn't eat very much of them because we were pretty hot and they were kind of hard to eat while we were walking around. That we only got them because we thought they'd be easy walking food. They weren't. So Krista got some, like, we got stuff on the way home. I got Five Guys. Oh, Krista got Chipotle. I don't know why. She got Chipotle. I got Five Guys. They're in the same plaza where we are. Then I came home. Sorry. We just had YouTube on and both fell asleep. And I just woke up. She also like just woke up and changed into pajamas. I'm gonna change into pajamas. I think tomorrow we're gonna go out and try the Dunkin' coffee thing because I was like, we can go tomorrow. So I think that's the plan. And I'll tell you what I think. But yeah, that is really my only update. I'm probably gonna read a little after I get on pajamas. Because we're just hanging at home for the rest of the day. I need to wash off my eye makeup and this paint stuff. And we're gonna hope that this SD card works. Because SD cards have gotten so expensive and my battery's dying. But I have so many that I've like used in the past. And I don't need the footage off of them for like in perpetuity. So I am like just gonna slowly wipe cards and reuse them. I used to do that back in the day when I made my like little tiny in my basement YouTube videos. So I'm just doing it with bigger YouTube, like bigger amounts of content. But I'm gonna go. I'm gonna read my book, gonna get on PJs, and I will talk to you probably not until tomorrow, Grumly knows. Surprise, we're in the car. It's the same day. It's still Saturday. Krista barely got any nap time because the pups woke her up. And so I was up and she was like, oh, do you want to do something? And so we're doing something. We're in the TJ Maxx parking lot, which is also where the Michaels is. And they might also have Halloween stuff. But this is the peanut butter Dunkin' Latte. And you got the one with marshmallow on top.
Fluffernutter.
Yeah, the Fluffernutter, Krista said, tastes the same as mine, just with the marshmallow topping on top. It tastes fine, like it's peanut buttery. I'm just not the biggest fan of milk, and it's a lot of milk. But I would try it again with just the peanut butter swirl syrup in regular coffee, like cold brew or something. But it's okay, I don't mind it. Just not a thing I would gravitate toward all the time, mostly again because this is a lot of milk. It actually says coffee milk and then espresso, so I think it's a lot of milk.
You have a bruise above your tattoo.
I do. I don't know what I did. I think it might have happened at your folks' house. I have a tiny bruise on my arm. I bruise very easily though. But we're gonna head in. If I see anything fun, I'll let you see it. If not, I guess I'll just see you at some point. I don't know. I'm just filming on the fly today because we just keep doing random stuff. So talk to you later, Grandma knows. Halloween. Also, I'll show you the pillow we're getting. Pillow. It's very soft. Squish, squish. Also, this sculpture is interesting. It's very like sculpted in, like she has a very like model-esque form, which I was not expecting. But there you go. There are also books that I'm going to show you real fast. There's so much Riley Sager. Some of them are in really rough shape though. And there's no cool Stephen King, like Slot, The Shining. I don't need any of those. There's a bunch of stuff. Some like referencey books, maybe, and some hidden books. So I came in, Krista's still in the car, but like there's already Halloween stuff. Like it's right when you walk in, which is shocking to me. Interesting. I do know the theme is like carnival. Again, I don't really want anything. I just wanted to see if they had it. Like, it's all fun. Are these soft? There's like a pillow. Or a pillow. This is a blanket. Yeah, it's fine. We're on a blanket moratorium. We're not allowed to buy any new blankets because we have too many. I feel like these all look like Joanna Parker. And it's not Joanna Parker. So that's a little weird to me. Like, I know the design, but I know it's not that person. Okay. Keep walking. Tassels. Okay. And is that it? I mean, this is the summer stuff. I've seen this. This is technically Summerween, and it looks very similar to what they did last year. Sorry. I knew I was gonna cough. I could feel it. I feel like those are very soft because we have some like at home. But then the rest of this looks like fall. Yeah. I mean, these are cute, but I'm not buying a realistic item candle. But very, very fun. But yeah, this is like fall and summer. So I think maybe that's it for now. Wait, there's some like silly, I'm still filming only because there's like silly stuff. Like giant spiderweb bows. And the boo tentacles. Also don't want to film anyone, so I'm trying to be like hyper cautious. Also there's music, so I'm trying to talk very close to you to blur it out. Okay, so this is... Okay, this is just confusing me even more. Okay, so this is the like village stuff. And then like all of this stuff. No, I'm not showing you all of it. You're just getting like line of sight, except for these guys who vulture, crow, owl, like potion-y stuff. More that. Then like this. This is just normal plant stuff. And there's more over here. This is so strange. So these are the Venus flytraps. I'm trying to talk over this music. It doesn't super matter because I'm not monetized, but still. That's them on a stick. Then like steppers. I think they move. Cute. The limbs though are throwing me off. And this is the rainbow section, which I thought was for Pride, but I guess they just have this all year round. And I was like, oh, interesting. Didn't realize we needed multicolor stuff, but this is what it is. I just had really hoped it was just for Pride, just as like a cute thing, but nope. Max. Oh, this is so loud. Sorted ghost things and stuff. More Max. I know I'm not showing you all of it. Ooh, giant man-eating plants. And that. Wow. These are so insanely big. Wow. That's a very big fake plant. He feels like breakable though. Like that's just styrofoam. Like that would get damaged so fast. They're all like that. Like there's glue hanging off these. Like none of these are like if I was like for $200, I want this to be made out of something that I couldn't break with my hand. I'm not going to because I'm not a jerk. Like I could run my nail through this. I know it would just be damaged. This is $200. $200. Good lord. Yeah. Oh, that music is so loud. And like, how much is just one? How much are you? Little dude. This is 20. No. I like the sign. I'm gonna guess. I can't really flip. I'm also holding my little camera bag. I just want to know pricing. $80. Which means you're probably what? 40. This is, geez Louise. This little guy is still $8. 5. This should be 5. $5. That is all I would pay for that. Anyway, that's everything. Everything is wildly overpriced. And I'll leave you with the steppers because I'm gonna go. I'm not buying anything. We only got the pillow because it was really soft, and Krista was like, oh, it'd be nice on the couch. So yeah, but I'm gonna go. Let me leave you with weird walking dog. Oh, good Lord. No, oh gosh. Oh no, 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 no. Please sit. Okay, I'm gonna go now. I'll talk to you tomorrow, Gremlinos. Just ignore the van wives that are blaring on the TV, but this is why we got the pillow. This is the only reason we got this pillow. Because Kira loves pillows. And she needed a soft pillow. But yes, I'm gonna go make lunch. But you needed to see why we got the pillow. Not because we needed a Halloween pillow. Kira needed a Halloween pillow. Hello, Gremlinos. It is Sunday evening. I'm back in the bedroom mostly because Krista is kind of resting on the couch. We were up so late last night. We watched all of 5 Star Weekend, which is the new Jennifer Garner show on Peacock. And then, oh yeah, I'm wearing my Freddy shirt. So we like didn't go to bed until almost 5, I think. And then we were up around like 11 to take out the dogs. So we did their breakfast, their outs, and then we went to get coffee. Coffee was a whole disaster. So we tried that peanut butter drink. So we went back to Dunkin' this afternoon, like after we did outs, to get coffees. And the Dunkin' we went to was like, oh no, we don't have any peanut butter stuff. And we were like, it just came out on the 8th. Like, how are you already out? So weird. So we have a second Dunkin', but it's in like a gas station. It's very weird. So Krista was like, we should just go there. So we drive to that one, and then I managed to try the peanut butter in cold brew. It was fine. Not a thing I need to go out of my way to get, but I did want to know what it tasted in plain black coffee. That Dunkin' tried to kill Krista. So she very clearly said she wanted the peanut butter Dunkin' latte with light ice. And so they gave her a cup, a large cup, because she ordered a large. No ice at all. But they didn't like add additional liquid, so they just took the ice out. So she basically had a medium amount of coffee. And I was like, okay. And she was like, I still wanted some ice because it's hot out. And I was like, okay. And then like the receipt was like wrapped on her cup. So she took a sip of it and she was like, I don't know. And she like put it down. And then I looked at it and it said butter pecan. Butter pecan! My tree nut allergy wife was provided butter pecan coffee. And I was like, maybe it's wrong. Because we did hear her say, oh shoot, I said butter pecan, it's supposed to be peanut butter. Like we heard her saying something. So I'm like taking a sip of hers to try and compare it to mine. And then like everything just started tasting like chemical nut flavor. Like it was not helpful. And so I was like, can you take a sip of mine and tell me if it tastes different than yours? Because I'm just getting a weird hodgepodge of like strangeness now. And so she took a sip of mine and then took a sip of hers. She was like, no, mine is definitely not peanut butter. And I was like, stop drinking. So we literally drove all over. I think it took us 30 minutes to get these coffees because the first Dunkin' made us wait almost 10 minutes before we even got asked for our order in the to-go line. It was so weird to be told they were out of peanut butter, where I was like, okay, that makes total sense. You just got it, but fine. Yeah, so Krista almost died. She would have been fine. It was not enough to like send her into anaphylaxis, but like she was like, oh yeah, no, I need to stop, because she took like 3 sips while we were like trying to figure out if like it was mislabeled, if it actually was butter pecan, and it was a whole thing. One of those sips, actually, so 2 sips while we were trying to figure it out. One sip was really before I even noticed it said butter pecan. I just assumed they didn't try and give her tree nuts. It was a whole thing. We'll probably not be going back to a Dunkin' anytime soon. We'll just keep going to Jumping Goat. Their coffee is better and their service is faster. And they typically don't run out of things. So Jumping Goat it is. We then did run to the store really quick. I feel like we've gone to the grocery store so many times this weekend, but they did a lot of charcuterie plates on 5 Star Weekend. So Krista was like, oh, we bought those, like, we bought some like dip stuff for lunch, like hummus and stuff. So she was like, oh, we should get cheese, because we didn't have any cheese. So we picked up some like cheeses. We did like a little charcuterie lunch, and then that was basically like it. We also had someone We had to organize some stuff in the house because we have some really, really big blankets that do not fit in our normal sized washing machine. So Krista found someone who like will take your big blankets and wash them, and you just like provide them with the detergent and stuff. And they're wildly affordable. They're very nice. But they were dropping off some blankets, and we were also giving them some additional like blankets that we had that were smaller that we could technically wash in our washer, but because it was so affordable, we were like, they can also wash these. They're washing like all of our Halloween stuff. We got some of them back already because Krista added some smaller blankets in with the bigger ones just because she was like, oh, okay, cool, you can do whatever. So yeah, so like Halloween blankets got washed, some giant winter blankets that we could not wash ourselves got washed. Like, we have a big duvet, we could not fit that in our washing machine. We have this giant keep warm blanket that's like huge and fluffy. It does not fit in our washing machine, and we've basically like, we use them for the winter and then we stored them in basically the bathtub in our downstairs bathroom, and we've been trying to figure out how to wash them. And then she found these people, so it worked out perfectly. But while all of this was going on, I read all of How You Get the Girl today. The downside is, while this does say Nashville Love Book 3, I am an idiot because I have read book 1, Love and Other Disasters, which does follow one of our main characters' twins. It has been a long time, and I listened to the audiobook, and while I remember it, I don't remember it super clearly because I think it's been like 2 years. Didn't think about that. Also, haven't read book 2. Now book 2 has a lot of hiking in it, and I know I very intentionally was like, oh, this is a book about hiking. And like, I just was not that interested in the concept of hiking, so I didn't pick it up. And unfortunately, as it turns out, I should have read that book before this. Also should have refreshed my memory on Love and Other Disasters, because this, so like, the Ashley Herring Blake ones that I read, where I accidentally read, it was Get Over It, April Evans, and Dream On, Ramona Riley. I like read those backwards, and it was okay, because it didn't like, it didn't expect you to know a lot. These expect you to know a lot, and I felt very dumb. So the main plot of this is following Julie, who is here. I'll move this so I can actually point. This is Julie. Her twin, London, is in Love and Other Disasters. And then this is Elle, and Elle is the standalone character. So the books themselves follow like connected people, and I am just dumb. I really should not have picked this up. I enjoyed it, I did, but I really should have refreshed my memory on Love and Other Disasters. It tries to help you along, but because I completely didn't read the second one, they are talking about a lot of things that occurred in the second one, and I was like, oh shoot, oops, because I just didn't read it. I didn't do it. It's solely because it was about hiking. It was like traveling the desert or something. It was something where I was like, I'm good. Like, the premise just didn't hook me. And normally I wouldn't read a basketball book, but I had there's like a Kate Hudson one on Netflix with Brenda Song. That was really good. I can't remember the name of it, but like, that has basketball in it, and I like it. And I liked this like Disney show that had John Stamos in it that was basketball. And so like, I went into it with like high hopes that I would enjoy a basketball book. And again, while I enjoyed this, I really felt a bit fish out of water, not knowing / remembering the other characters. So I just felt a little dumb. Julie is a great character, but Julie very much is kind of unintentionally comparing herself to all of her siblings, all of her friends, which includes a lot of comparison to her twin. London is non-binary and uses they them pronouns, and didn't really discuss much of their journey to that identity with Julie. So Julie's kind of at a loss because she thinks she might be on the ace spectrum, but she's not sure. She's just never really dated people, or she had like one kiss and it did not go well. And so she doesn't really like feel like she's just not really interested in dating. Like, she just hasn't been. But when she sees Elle, who is her former like crush / role model, she suddenly is like, oh gosh, like, am I interested in her? Is it her and Manny Jacinto, and those are the only two people I'm interested in? Which isn't interesting. She loves The Good Place. I wonder if she watched that Star Wars show that he's in. I'm curious to know. I feel like no, but she doesn't give me Star Wars watcher energy. But they meet, And the reason they meet is because Elle has a niece. Technically, it's her cousin's child who is staying with her, Vanessa, and she sends her for basketball because she's like, I think it'll really help her. Also, like, I need her to go somewhere while I'm at work until I can figure some stuff out. So Vanessa has joined the team. So this angle is horrible for coughing. Julie is the coach of the basketball team at this school, and so she meets Vanessa and then finds out that Elle is Vanessa's current, like, caretaker. There is a large plot concerning Vanessa being taken in by Elle and how Elle is adapting to that, and then we're also getting discussions of why Elle is no longer playing basketball, because both of our main characters did play basketball at some point, and Elle was a big deal player until she got to the WNBA. She was big in college ball. And then Julie is like very invested in basketball, but she didn't really do much, and she didn't really even play in college. She just very much loves the sport. And so she was convinced to become the coach for this high school team. And they meet, and then, is this on the back? I have to double check. Yeah, it is on here. So the two of them wind up in a situationship, I'm going to say, where Elle is like, oh, you're not comfortable with, like, dating and stuff, so why don't we fake date, kind of. Like, I'll help you learn how to date. And I was like, you both have feelings for each other, but okay. Good plan. Good plan. So it's one of those, like, I'll teach you how to date, and then the two of them are just falling more and more for each other as the plot goes on. Now, while this plot is going on, we are also getting some, like, side plot stuff for the other two books, which is why I felt very dumb for having not read them, because, for having not read the second one, and having not, like, refresh my memory for the first one, because there's a lot of discussion of the two main characters from the first one, primarily because they're kind of getting an epilogue in this one that I was not fully anticipating. I'm just gonna throw that out there. Like, I was just like, oh, I needed to remember things that I don't. And I just, again, felt dumb. Overall, the story's good. There are some steamy scenes. There's a lot of character growth. There is an examination of being a migraine, like someone with chronic migraine. Elle has chronic migraine, and that is discussed, and her triggers and how the migraines come on and how sometimes they're expected, sometimes they're not. We do get that, and then we get Julie really dealing with like how she feels about relationships, if she's comfortable in them. We also get a very stressful moment with her cat, and then that all worked out, but again, there's a very stressful moment with the cat. And we have Elle dealing with Vanessa being in her life and how to handle that, and also Jules kind of finding herself becoming someone Vanessa trusts as her coach, so she's also kind of brought into that. It is a very good book. I think it's a well done romance. It does feel a bit like the trope is shoehorned in there, because I don't know that the trope of, like, practice dating really need to happen. They only really go on, like, 2 practice dates, so we could have done it a bit differently, I think. So I really liked the first one. Is it Love and Other Disasters? Yeah, I really liked Love and Other Disasters because I thought it was fun. It was like a reality show. It was baking. This, I do think, is still very fun. It deals with a lot of very complex topics, and the romance does work very well. The romance is very well done, even in the short time span that the book takes place in. But I do feel like the practice dating is really just in there to hook you, because it's not really much of the plot, in all honesty. It's just not. But it was good. I do feel like I should read the second one, but I'm not doing that anytime soon, because again, I still don't know that I care about hiking. They were still talking about it. He was like, I hiked all the time, and I was like, I really don't know that I want to read about hiking. Now I feel like I should read it, because there's only 3 books in this trilogy, I think. So I'm like, oh, should I read the second one? I think the library had it. I'm very sure I saw it. I just kind of was like, hiking. I didn't touch the book. It's because I'm dumb. It's because I'm dumb. I was like, I can give basketball a shot. Hiking? No. And now watch. I'm just going to watch this and be like, it's not about hiking. Why do you think it's about hiking? In my brain, the book was about hiking. But moving on. And kind of conveniently, based on how the last book ended, I will not say how or who, but I will be reading Best Men, that I oddly just found in the fiction section while I was, like, wandering the library the day I went and checked out the Pride table, but it's gay. And I was like, okay, 2 men meet at a wedding is all I'm going to tell you. And I'm very curious to see how this goes. It's not super long either, so I'm going to try and knock this one out between today and tomorrow. Oh, my nose is itchy. But I also, I'm gonna put on pajamas because I'm getting hot up here. I very much enjoy the shirt, but I am very warm. Also, I made dinner. We had some steaks that I picked up when we were doing all of our various grocery trips. Yeah, so my plan is to try and read this partially tonight into tomorrow and then start another book. But I'm curious, I just know it's like 2 people meet at a wedding. Yes, 2 men meet at a wedding is all I'm gonna tell you. But this cover is very pretty. I really like the cover. I just happened to see best men on the side when I was walking like this, and I was like, this feels gay. And I literally just grabbed it and was like, verifying, are you gay? I was like, oh, it is gay. So I grabbed it. So yeah, I probably won't talk to you until I finish that. I do have Joffrey's coffee coming tomorrow, so I get a free bag of Joffrey's coffee. Not for very much longer, but I won like a contest and I get a free bag a month. And with the holiday, it got delayed, so like they just didn't ship it. So it's apparently coming tomorrow, and I'm gonna make an iced version. So that taste test will be in this vlog before the vlog is over, but I'm not sure. Like, I'll probably just toss it in here, so you know what coffee it is and all that jazz. This is a very long clip, but I'm gonna go. I'm gonna put on pajamas. I will talk to you presumably sometime tomorrow, Gremolinos. Good morning, Gremolinos. It is in fact Monday, and I actually did read all of Best Men. I need to take the book workout. All of Best Men last night. So this is a debut novel by Sydney Carter. Sydney does have a second book that released, I'm guessing pretty close to when this one came out, because there's an excerpt in the back of this. So a second book has been written and published. I don't know that he has other books coming out after that. I don't know. So let me get into this one. In this, we are following Max Moody, whose best friend from childhood, like they've been friends forever, Paige, she is getting married, and she wants him to be her, is his title on the back? Basically, man of honor. And he will have to like help her with wedding stuff, and also the wedding is happening in 3 months. Paige has just decided like, let's do it. Paige also typically has a lot of indecisive issues. I don't know what Kira is barking at. It is trash day, which is not ideal for filming, and she's irritated that Krista and I went to work, so she's just like barking at things. Brain. Blah, blah, blah. So she and her fiance, they've been dating for a year. He proposed, and they're like, okay, we're gonna get married in 3 months. So one, I'm not quite sure how they afforded all of that. Oh my gosh, she's not gonna stop. Kira, please stop barking at the garbage. Stop. I know what she's doing. She knows she's not supposed to be doing it. I might have to go down. I'm gonna try and finish this recap though. Blah, blah, blah. I am not quite sure how much money her fiance has, because they are getting married in 3 months, but also trying to do a ton of very expensive things. Like, there are wild amounts of parties in the 3-month window. Like, there's a shower, there's a bachelorette, there's the actual wedding, and like the wedding is on Labor Day weekend, I think. Like, it's very difficult to get, like, it's all just like very expensive seeming. Max is maid of honor, and then the brain, oh god, best man, for the to-be husband is Chasen, and Chasen is also gay and is Austin. That's the groom's name. It's his brother. So a lot of this is like them being thrown together because of the wedding, so you know that they're going to be in kind of close quarters, but also for funsies, they've actually randomly met before but didn't know each other's names, because Max randomly wanted to hook up with someone after hooking up with his ex that he was still hooking up with. It was like a whole thing where I was like, really? You couldn't just go home? You had to go hook up with someone after you just hooked up with someone? Did you even shower? I had thoughts. It's fine, it's fine. So they had met, and then it's kind of the two of them getting to know each other. They don't have it, like, the connection between the two of them does not feel overly romantic. Like, they're dealing with all of the wedding stuff, in which Chasen is doing most of the heavy lifting. Chasen is also a chocolatier, so he keeps like making food, and his brother's a chef, so like his brother has like told him how to make certain things. So like Chasen is constantly very busy and like planning stuff that Max seems to have very little interest in, or is like actively like, I don't want to do that. Couldn't we do this? And then Paige is like, no, I want to do this. Like, her bachelorette is on Fire Island, which, sure. I guess I even feel like it's during peak like Fire Island season. So like, do the gays want you around? Like, I mean, it's fine. Whatever. Also, sorry, I'm drinking out of the Marvel's mug and wearing the Marvel shirt. So, sorry. If you can tell, I was not wowed by this book. I thought we would spend more time in the wedding planning. We barely get to see the wedding at all in this book, just as a heads up. It's a lot of the prep to the wedding, but that is also very much interspersed with Max's job as like second in command for HR at some very random company that is laying off seemingly their entire workforce. So you have to like read a number of chapters where he's just firing people and he doesn't want to be doing it, but he is, and it's depressing as heck. Like, I was just like, I don't want to be reading this. Like, the job market is terrible right now. I don't need the added stress of reading a book about people being laid off constantly. He also still has feelings for his ex Greg, and he suddenly has decided he's upset with Paige, even though he also does some stuff to upset Paige. It's like there's just a lot of like dramatic stuff, and honestly I feel like this would maybe work better as a movie or a TV show, because it's like set in New York City, and the New York City of it does feel very interesting, but like some of it I feel could have been condensed out, or like watching the visuals of it would be cool. And that does kind of make sense because Karger wrote for television. It seems like he only really wrote like not scripted television, but like stuff for like Comedy Central. It mentions Billy on the Street, but when I went on IMDb, that is not listed under his credits, so I thought that was interesting. IMDb is updated by random people, so like it could be inaccurate, but like that was odd to me that it wasn't listed. It was just fine. I feel like if you want to watch something set in a city where they also go to like a very gay weekend away, you should just watch Bros, in all honesty. That stars Billy Eichner, and also the guy he starts getting with in that movie, like the love interest, is very into making chocolates. So like as soon as they were like, oh, he's a chocolatier, I was like, is this Bros? They go to P-Town in Bros, so Provincetown, instead of Fire Island, but there is a thing in here where they compare the difference between P-Town and Fire Island, and it's basically like it fits the concept of Bros that they would go to P-Town over Fire Island. This was just fine. Max is a character, like, no one really feels like they get a lot of development, so I just wasn't very like invested in them. And normally I wouldn't do this, but like because I didn't know what the name of the next book was, because it's never listed, it just says next novel, I went on the internet and just like Googled and found out it's called Bump, and it's about two men who are married, their husbands, and their surrogate is like giving birth, and they're road tripping to the baby. And I also read the review, like a handful of reviews, just to get an idea of it, and it did seem like a lot of the things that I thought were an issue here again occur in the second one, where like the characters aren't really developed, you can't really tell why they're getting together. Like, I don't really understand how these two men think they're like destined. Like, they were like making these wild proclamations in the street, and I was like, gentlemen, I don't know that you are the ones. Like, I don't think this is gonna last very long. Like, I just don't know that Max is like, it was just odd. Just no one felt like they had any character. Like, they felt very vague almost. Like, Max just felt kind of whiny, which seems very mean because he's our main character, but like his job sucked, and I was like, your job sucks, and he even says my job sucks, but we like don't see him like actively choosing to like not be there. Also, something very bad happens concerning his job so that we can ignore his job, I feel like, for the rest of the book at a certain point. But then we don't get, like, this is what he's gonna do later. Also, there's a thing with Max and Plants that pops up, which then made me think of the Netflix Christmas movie Single All the Way, because that guy loves plants. And then I was like, should I just recommend that they watch Single All the Way during Christmas time and Bros during the summer? Like, is that what I should do? Because, like, this was not great. I sped through it because I was just like, this is fine, but I don't really care about anyone. Like, everyone gives a vague, like, annoying, oh, that's why I feel like it. This feels very early 2000s television show. That's what it is. Everyone's kind of vague. There's no real development of them. They're just around doing silly things. So I don't know that I would recommend this. If you want a wedding book that is good, I was trying to remember the name of it. I'm still trying to remember the name of it. It was like, it's the best, the groomswoman? The best woman? I read it in another vlog. And I'm not gonna remember. And because I don't use an online, I'm gonna try and find it. Nope, this is, oh! This is it. Best Woman! You should read Best Woman instead. It is great. It's by Rose Damu, and I really liked that. So I'd recommend that over this one. Just as chaotic, very fun time. I would recommend that instead. I know these clips are very long, so I'm gonna try and hurry up. The last book in this vlog, and also my buzzword occupations pick, is The Disaster Gay Detective Agency. My mom saw this at Half Price Books, and she texted and was like, do you have this? Do you want this? And I was like, yes, I would like it. And then she gave it to me while we were visiting during Pride. So I'm gonna read this. Oh, this looks like a speedy read. But I'm not sure that I'm gonna finish this today, but I will try and check in a bit more frequently because this is bigger, a bit bigger looking than other stuff. But I'm so excited for this. I'm not gonna tell you anything until I start it, but I just love the cover. This is so fun. Also, the title is delightful. I did do tarot stuff off camera, so I have the card prepped. I haven't pulled it. It is Temperance. Ooh, the model for Temperance looks incredible. So Temperance, let's see. It is Major Arcana 14. Sometimes I have the worst time with Roman numerals. 14, I believe. Here we go. Moderation, balance, neutrality. Temperance is a card that's all about finding your center, representing restraint, moderation, and balance. This card encourages you to identify the excess in your life and to take a break from them. Oh, excesses in your life and take a break from them. If you've been going through tough times, this card signifies that pain will eventually be alleviated, pushing you to return to regular life, away from all the negativity you've endured. But that rebalancing can only start when you make the decision to relax for a second. Temperance reminds us that sometimes we need to take the neutral path, seeking to understand both sides of a situation and possibly acting as a peacemaker. More literally, Temperance can represent sobriety or a reality check about your behaviors and vices. This card can show you that by analyzing your habits surrounding the potentially harmful things in your life, you can recenter yourself by practicing moderation and restraint. The reverse is you have been overindulging or being excessive in one area of your life, causing an imbalance. And then it says this is a sign to commit to more restraint, even-handedness, and moderation in your life. It may be time to examine your life's visions, goals, values, and priorities. If you're not quite feeling like yourself, then pause and do the work to raise your vibration. Maddie, they, them, is the model. Incredible. Gorgeous. Beautiful. That dress? Yeah, it's dress. Stunning. But yeah, so there's that. It's very cool that I'm pulling Arcana, because I feel like I haven't pulled a lot of Major Arcana, and now I'm pulling a lot more. That is it though, for now. Oh, also, I am drinking a very random cold brew, because I literally forgot to prep coffee on Sunday, and then we were out, and I was like, oh, I'm gonna need coffee. And Chris was like, yeah, it's fine. So while we were at the store, I got brownie batter, unsweetened coffee. I'm pretty sure it's a Walmart brand, but they changed all their packaging, and I looked at it and I was like, I don't know what brand this is. I just kind of grabbed it because it wasn't very expensive. And then I got it home and I was looking at it. So it's technically Walmart brand coffee. I like cold brew. I also got a thing of Stoke. I was really hoping they would have pumpkin spice Stoke early, but they didn't. So I just got regular Stoke. I do love Stoke's coffee. Their iced coffee is very, very good. So I have those, and I actually do have to prep an iced coffee today. You'll see it's the Joffrey's I was talking about. But it hasn't come yet, I don't think. But I should go. This clip is very long. So I will talk to you when I have an update on, I have so many things in a very tiny area. The Disaster Gay Detective Agency. Yes, putting everything down now. I will talk to you later, Gremolinos. Hello, Gremolinos. The attempt was if I turned this light on, it would actually focus on my face and not turn me into the Phantom of the Opera or Two-Face from Batman the Animated Series. But you know, it may still not focus on my face and it may cast this one in shadow, which is, yep, that's what it's doing. I was really hoping the dogs wouldn't bark because Krista just got a chance. It is after work. And like well after she got out of work, but she wants to mow, and I had hoped that the dogs would realize that's what she's doing, but I don't think they do. Yep, and now you're gonna bark. Please don't bark at your mom. She is just trying to mow the lawn. I have to go out and weed whack, so I wanted to give you this clip before I get very, very sweaty, because I'm not gonna want to talk to you after that, because I get very sweaty and then I have to cook dinner over a stove. So I will get even sweatier, and that seemed bad. But in good news, I am loving the Disaster Gay Detective Agency. So please note, and my battery is dying, look at that. They are not actually a detective agency. So in order of the cover, this is Ian, they are a drag queen and work at a bookstore. This is Brandon. Brandon had sex with a guest at the hotel he works at, and now everyone is embroiled in a murder investigation. Ollie is trans. There's mention of T-gel, and I only mention that just because I was like, oh, that's fun. Everyone is gay. Everyone is gay. Just gay detective agency, you see. Ollie is a house sitter and dog walker. His mom is very wealthy, and she kind of like sets him up with people to house sit for or dog sit for. So he basically doesn't live anywhere. He just kind of couch surfs, but in very, very affluential houses. Then, oh my gosh. Oh, I talked too fast. Whew, sorry. Oh, my brain. Yes, Nicole. Nicole, who I was gonna try and get this off, but I'm so afraid I'm gonna rip her actual face. I feel like they could have put the sticker here and it would have made way more sense to me. Nicole is a junior associate at a law firm and works all the time, just all the time, because she is a black lesbian, and while she went to Penn and is like very, very good at being a lawyer, it doesn't matter. Like, she has to work so hard to get like up higher, and so she's very focused on doing her job super well so that she can become a senior associate, and then at that point she can like calm down and relax. But she has a huge crush on a barista. I think that is all of the minor breakdown of characters. So Brandon hooked up with a guy named John. That man left a phone and checked out early, and he decided that this was his Cinderella moment and looped everyone else into this. Nicole was very against this. Ian was like, fine, but also you fall in love with everyone and maybe don't do this. They decide, Ollie and Brandon, to go together to try and return this phone. And when they do, because there's an address that pops up on it, they witness literally a murder. And now everyone is panicked because there's a scary man with a scary tattoo. They don't know why someone is dead. And they don't know if John is involved. And we're getting a little interlude chapter. We're gonna talk very, very fast. We think it's John. That's the story. Everyone's doing a lot of investigating, and now battery is super dead. So I will update you tomorrow when I make coffee. See you then, Gremelinos. Hello from my kitchen again, Gremelinos. My battery's charged though, and I'm wearing a cute dog shirt because Ollie's a dog walker and stuff. I can't tell you the other reason, but it's predominantly because Ollie is a dog walker. Something happens in the book, and it just, I finished the book. I did finish the Disaster Gay Detective Agency, but we'll talk about that after coffee and after tarot pull. I'll do the tarot pull first, and then we'll finish out with the book. But this is the coffee I got yesterday. So again, I get these for free. I like was one of 12 winners in a contest thing that Joffrey's does, where for 12 months you get a free bag of coffee. It's technically called a year of free coffee, but 12 bags would not last me a year. So it's just a free bag every month. But it's 12 months and I'm getting very close to the end. This is July. Oh, there's something very loud outside. Now everyone's loud. I'm gonna be quick. So this is Caramel Mudslide. It's creamy caramel notes of caramelized sugar and dark chocolate with hints of vanilla and a dash of Jamaican rum. I have already tried this. I did it iced. I didn't keep it in the fridge as long because I got it later in the day, so it's not as strong as normal, which is fine. I put it in my Care Bear mug. This is my Care Bear mug. I provide a great deal of Cheer Bear lore every Pride Month, so if you don't know, you should watch one of those videos. But just know that as a child growing up, I thought Cheer Bear was a boy, and in my brain, Cheer Bear is forever a boy, or Cheer Bear is non-binary, or gender fluid. Cheer Bear is what Cheer Bear wants to be, but in my mind as a child, Cheer Bear was a boy. He consistently played the prince when I was Clara in my renditions of the Nutcracker. So just know, to me, Cheer Bear, for whatever reason, is always a boy. Even when Cheer Bear is not dressed as a boy. Don't ask me why. I don't know. This also means Cheer Bear as the Bride of Frankenstein to me is actually Cheer Bear either in drag, or if we go the route that Cheer Bear is gender fluid, Cheer Bear felt like being a girl. I don't know. I like to think that it's True Bear and drag. That's my favorite interpretation of True Bear as Bride of Frankenstein. Anyway, now I'm rambling. But I says there's a little bit of Splenda in this. That is my preferred sweetener. So yes. This is a little bit stronger because it was the bottom. It does taste like caramel. That is the predominant flavor I'm getting, is really just the caramel, which is fine. I don't mind caramel coffee. It's not like my go-to, but it is good. Like, I like it. I have another caramel coffee that Krista got me, and I'm very curious about it. She got me, because it's been so hot, and making iced coffee is kind of messy. She actually got me a little sampler pack of Bones iced coffees, like these little canned ones. I have had Bones coffee hot, and I think it's fine, but I'm incredibly picky, and I think that perhaps their K-Cups were not as strong as their actual bagged coffee, because I had their Star Wars K-Cups and I didn't think any of them really tasted like what they said they were supposed to. But again, I'm weirdly picky. The canned ones though I do like, which is interesting because I don't normally like coffee with like cream in it, and they all have cream in them, but I like their cannoli one a lot. And I've had another one of theirs I like, but I know I like the cannoli one. But she got me a sampler that's like salted caramel, cannoli, cookies and cream, which I'm very excited about. I love a cookies and cream. And then what's the other one? Oh, brain. Oh, it's s'mores, which I have had. Their s'mores is okay. It's not overwhelmingly marshmallowy, so I'm okay. It's about the same like graham cracker level as the Joffrey's one that I had, so I don't mind it. But I have those and I want to drink those, and I have some coffee that I bought but because I forgot she bought me those, and we have some in the fridge, so I will be drinking this, and then I won't be making my own cold brew for a tiny bit. But this coffee will definitely be gone by the end of the month for sure. Last time it was gone in like 3 days because I used it for cold brew. But I do need to go. I really should take the dogs out. I only haven't yet because Krista was not feeling well this morning, and so she is like trying to rest a little and then go in for like half day at least, if not more than a half day. She just like didn't feel well this morning, which is why I'm kind of talking quietly. But I really should take them out, which is tricky because we're sleeping in our living room because of the heat. So like she's in the living room, the dogs are in the living room, it's the whole thing. But I'm gonna go. I will talk to you about book and tarot very shortly for you. It'll be a few minutes for me. But see you in the office, Grumbly Nose. All right, Grumbly Nose, dogs are outed, and I have done slight shuffling, not a lot. So teeny bit more. Then I promise we will talk about the book. Though my mom has already heard my thoughts on the book because she got it for me actually. So she was at Half Price Bookstore, and they are in the Midwest, my folks. And I mentioned that in this vlog already. They're in Ohio. Because I was talking about Girls Girl. But they were at a Half Price Books, and my mom sent me a text asking if I wanted the Disaster Gay Detective Agency. And I was like, oh yeah, because I had seen the title, and admittedly the title is what did it for me. Like I was like, oh, that title is hilarious, like I need to read that book. And I was gonna try and get it from like the library or something, but she got it for me and gave it to me while we were visiting. And so I texted her late last night, my mom's a night owl, to tell her that I had finished the book, and she was like, oh, did you like it? And I was telling her I did, because I did very much like the book. And she was like, I don't know anything about the book. She was like, I don't know, I think I got it for the cover. Like, I thought you would like it. And I feel like secretly she got it because it's a disaster gay. That's just funny to me. Okay, we're gonna pull a card. Also, if you hear weird rustling, Binks is on top of a pile of things in the hallway and being very weird about it. All right, we have our card, we have our card, we have our card. It's right here. You might have seen it before me. Ace of Swords. Okay, let's see. I always forget where swords are in this. Wands, cups. Are swords at the end? Yeah. Okay, and it's the ace. Pull them back. There we go. New beginnings, clarity, truth. The Ace of Swords signifies a new journey that may have begun with a loss. It's bittersweet insofar as it is a reminder that sometimes you have to lose something to gain something, whether that's a relationship, a physical object, or emotional baggage. This loss will give you that aha moment in which you gain mental clarity and a shift in perspective, allowing you to begin this new phase. You have a fresh outlook that brings clarity or truth to a certain situation. This card literally sheds light on the negativity in your life and asks you to find the determination and willpower to cut it away. Remember, nothing comes without cost, so be aware that you may have to make sacrifices, but they will be worth it to move forward. If it's in reverse, you may be experiencing a breakthrough, shedding old ways of understanding and communicating. If you feel bogged down by a certain situation, spend time thinking about it in order to gain more mental clarity. Oh, and there's no model because it's a hand, so they don't list a person. But there is the card. Get that in here before I drop everything on the floor. Let me shuffle those up again a little. I'll shuffle them more before I put them away. So now to the book. So I had told you the basis, and yes, we do have our characters attempting to figure out, it's more that they're like embroiled in this murder investigation unintentionally. So the real focus is John, the guy that Brandon hooked up with. They're trying to figure out who he is, if he's involved, why he was there, what any of this means. So a lot of the focus is John, not so much the deceased person. We do find out their name, and all of that, but like, I think, is it on the back? Okay, that's all I'm going to say about that. There is a mention of a tattooed man on the back. The tattooed man does become kind of a big figure from the halfway point on. Very interesting character. But yeah, it is fun. I think it's very fun, very campy, very wild. Like, everyone has so much drama going on top of the fact that they're investigating possibly a murderer or something else. They get the idea of what he might be as the plot expands, and it's just very interesting to watch them try and figure out what to do with that knowledge. So there is character development for everyone, which I greatly appreciated, since I was complaining in the last book that there was no character development. These are all very rich, very well developed characters who are going through various things. Ian, they are still dealing with their breakup of over a year ago, and they hold a lot of anger, and we see that in their response to certain things. Brandon is very much someone who falls in love immediately and then is very fixated on that like person. Guy, he only dates guys, so he is very much like head over heels immediately, and then has to deal with the fallout of that, especially in this case because that happened with John. Then Ollie has been kind of struggling since an event happened in his life, and he can't focus. He used to be a very focused person, and now he's very much finding ways to not be focused and really not like finding what he wants to do. He is kind of just letting his mom set him up with these people who need house sitters, dog sitters, whatever. So he doesn't even really have a permanent address. He's just kind of floating. And so we watch him not only trying to find a purpose through this, but also there's a little love interest moment, which was cute. And then Nicole is very focused on her job. And her job is really sucking the life out of her. She's constantly working. When she's not working, she's stressing out about work. Like, work is just exhausting for her, but it's what she's always thought she wanted. So there's a lot of the four of them trying to deal with the events of this John situation and also working through their own stuff. That I very much enjoyed. I do have a couple tiny nitpicks that I do want to let you know about before you go into this. The predominant nitpick I have is there are text threads. There's like a text thread between the four of them, and that's totally fine. I do actually love seeing text messages from characters. I think it's a nice addition to a story, but because this is told from 4 points of view, they repeat the texts 4 times. So at a certain point I was like, could you have found a way to maybe present these to me in a way where I know we're talking about the text thread, but I don't have to see it like 4 times repeated? Like, it would be like 4 chapters where the text thread was the exact same, but it was different characters reacting to it, and I was like, I feel like there could be a better way, because I was just like glossing over it because I was like, it's the exact same, like this is exactly the same. And then the only other thing that I would say, there's a breeze, which is lovely, it's making my window make noise. The only other thing that I would say is in keeping with that like repeated thing, because it's different points of view, there near the end we do everyone's point of view while they're all in the same place again, and each of the 4 chapters starts with like, it's trivia time. I read it so many times. Hold on. Hold on. I know it's at the start of one of these chapters. Time for trivia, Ollie says, is how 4 separate chapters start. And the events are different slightly for each character, but they weren't different enough. So it felt a bit repetitive towards the end until we got to the big action moment where everyone is together and in the same place and all kind of doing the same thing together. So that was helpful. But there is this section like from the midpoint to right before the end where you're getting a lot of repeated stuff that I think there could have been a way around that. Like, assume I know we're in the same place. I think some of it is done to make sure you know what's going on. But I was telling my wife that if we'd been listening to this on audio and we got to the sections where the texts are constantly repeated or the intro line is constantly repeated, I would have thought there was a problem with the audiobook. Like, I would have been like, did we go back a chapter? Like, what happened? So I just think there could have been a way to not do that. Overall, this is a very fun, cozy mystery-esque book. And I am very curious to see if there is a sequel. I don't know that there is. I didn't see anything. Also, I need a sip of coffee because I've been talking a lot. I didn't see anything, but Rosen, I think it would be Rosen, does have a detective series. He has written a, what is it? Also, his, he writes a detective novel series that I actually requested the first book up, called the Evander Mills series. This is set in 1950 San Francisco, and I did request Lavender House from my library because they had it. So I'm curious to see. He's written a number of books. Like, there's an impressive list at the front of this. But I'm curious to read that mystery novel to see. I'm sure it won't be as silly. I feel like the silly level in this one is very high, but I would be so curious because they set it up so there could be more books, but I don't know. I'm just curious. It does say a novel, but like, you could do more books. So I did very much enjoy it. Those are just my small nitpicks. I wish they had found a way to like not repeat things verbatim, so that I did not have to experience them right after each. It just felt very repetitive, and I was like, oh my god, could we find a different way to do this? And that is my only nitpick. Overall, I did very much enjoy it. I thought it was a very fun time. I read through it pretty quickly, but yeah, that was a great way to end the vlog. It definitely made up for the last book, and a little bit for the romance novel, which it is my fault. For the basketball romance, it's my fault. I should have realized I needed to read book 2 first. I just kind of threw it out of my brain. So that's on me. But yeah, I think that's it. Like, subscribe, also on Instagram, Cliff Ever After, all those things. But yeah, let me know if you have recs, if you've read any of these. I feel like Girls Girl was like a couple people had read it. Humorously, we are going to the fair tonight unless it thunderstorms. We're not going to ride any rides. We're just going to get food and wine slushies because that's a thing. So, well, I'll be getting a wine slushie, hopefully. Krista's hoping she feels better so she can just drive and go get us food. But we don't do rides, ever. We just go get food. We can't do rides. We're too old now. But yeah, that is everything. Let me know if you've read any of these. If you have recommendations for any queer romance, I would love to know. But I think that is it. So I will see you in the next one, Grumly Knows. Bye!